Hello, Dead Battery here, and thank you for joining me on my channel. So, I have a confession to make. I like digging through the trash. I like digging through the trash. That's right, you heard me. I tend to walk by dumpsters at work or near my house, and a lot of people just throw away electronics. Now, I'm not dumpster diving or going into any disgusting areas. I tend to avoid that. But sometimes they're just kind of sitting out. And I did find this nice little piece of equipment. This is an Alienware 17R2. On the outside appearance, it looks terrible. I'm pretty sure it has water damage and it has a slight musky smell to it. There's definitely mold on it. Honestly, I don't actually know how to take this apart. I've never attempted to take apart a laptop. But I did notice that possibly somebody else tried to take it apart. There was a screw missing and another one was pretty loose. As you can see, I was able to take it out with my fingers. I decided to go around and start removing screws since I couldn't get that panel off, and I wasn't sure if it was stuck or if it was something else, but I didn't want to break it. As you can see, the screw definitely has some rust on it, so once again, I'm expecting this to have quite a bit of water damage on the inside. It did rain that day when I grabbed it. I decided it was probably smarter to put gloves on since this system did have some mold, or I'm not too sure what was on it. Now that I have gloves on, I'm going to attempt to pry up the back. And I couldn't really figure out a spot to get in, but then I realized the back panel was just stuck a little bit, and all I had to do was lift up on it to get it off. When I took the panel off, it didn't look like there was really any damage on it. Doesn't look like there's any rust on the inside. I don't see any residue. It all looks like surface damage at this point. There wasn't too many videos as well. It seemed like this laptop was an older version, and there is a newer version out, and there was a lot of tear down videos for that one, but not specifically for this one. After a little more prying, I was able to get the back off. I decided to start with the keyboard since that had a lot more damage on it. Not really damage, but just mold, or what looked like mold. So the way the system went together, it was very interesting. It was fairly easy to see where all the screws were. Disconnect all of the ribbon cables, and then separate all the parts so that I could clean them. I could not figure out how to get the keyboard off because I didn't want to break anything, but it didn't feel like it was just popping out. And after further inspection, I realized I missed a screw. Actually, I missed 2 screws. Usually I don't use the cotton swabs, but I ran out of my foam tips that I usually use. So right now I'm just going to use my microfiber cloths and some cotton swabs to wipe everything down and get some of the surface stickiness and mold and whatever else is on it off. The keyboard cleaned up fairly easily. I was surprised. I'm really thinking that maybe this laptop just got put into storage because it is older, and because I live in an area that is very humid, it maybe just got humid in the storage area, the garage, or wherever, and just collected some mold. So while I was wiping the front area, I realized that it looked like the mouse pad could actually be detached. And I figured I might as well give it a try and see if I can clean in between the crevices. I had a little more trouble putting it back together because I couldn't get my finger in there to put the ribbon back into place. So I had to get my tweezers out. There's also these little cutouts at the bottom, and you have to put the ribbon cables through so that they're not being crushed by that panel. So it takes a little bit of maneuvering to lift up the panel and get the ribbons through without cutting them or breaking them. So now that the keyboard's complete and it looks fairly clean and it looks nice, I'm going to move on to the screen and the rest of the motherboard. The fans did look fairly dirty. So if there was anything else I was going to take apart and clean, it was definitely going to be the fans. The right fan I seem to have a little more difficulty taking off, and I realized that it was underneath the board, so I needed to take the whole board off to get to the second fan. And in the process of that, I realized I could actually take the screen off. So I went about removing all the screws, all of the wires, and all the ribbons so that I could take this fully apart. And even from here, you can see that there's definitely some dirt built up on them. So now that they're clean, I put the tops back on them, and I am going through and making sure the rest of the motherboard is clean. And as you can see, there's even all the dirt caught in the heatsink areas. So I'm gonna go through and remove all that buildup. It's pretty gross. So now that I've removed everything, I'm just going to wipe everything down. So I happened to see that I missed a ribbon attachment here, so I'm just going to put it back together. It happens. It's always good to double check your work. So now I can flip it over, and I just need to get all those ribbons pulled through, which I did, and I can finish putting all the back on, get everything attached, and then give this a go. So there's definitely something on the back here. I'm not too sure. It was a little tacky. Maybe a soda was spilled on it. Maybe it's dumpster grossness. I'm not too sure, but we're gonna use isopropyl alcohol again to wipe everything down. If you remember from the beginning, I did mention that some of the screws were loose and it did look like it was taken apart before, so I was missing, I can't remember, I think 1 or 2 screws. I'm hoping it's not a big deal. I'm not going to try to find replacements. I don't really know how to do that yet. So now we're gonna give it a go and test it to see if it even turns on. I was actually very surprised that the light came on, and I was very happy about that. And that little alien symbol is so cool that it lights up. I did happen to find the power cord, which I didn't mention in the beginning of the video, but I did find the power cord the next day. And it had rained that night. And I know it's the correct power cord because it does say Dell on the back, but as you can see, it had a rip in the actual cable and it was a little dirty, so I'm just gonna wipe it down. After getting the laptop disassembled, cleaned, and put back together, I was able to power it on and get it to work. However, it only had about 30% battery life left, and because the power adapter that came with it is broken, I was not able to charge it, or didn't want to risk charging it. This could have been the only thing that was wrong with it. I don't know. Once again, it was found next to the dumpster, so maybe this was all that was wrong and they had just as much trouble finding a new power adapter as I did. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you again in 2 weeks. Bye!